Hello, welcome to the Daily News Ukraine channel. Today is January 10th and our daily review of news about Ukraine. Last night Russian troops launched a missile attack on the Donetsk region's Kramatorsk, having caused damage to several apartment blocks, educational institutions, and infrastructure facilities. 2 civilians were reported killed. The relevant statement was made by Kramatorsk City Council on Telegram, and Ukrinform correspondent reports. The aftermath of the night missile attack on Kramatorsk, 2 apartment blocks, 2 educational institutions, a city gas authority's office, postal office, car wash and dormitory were damaged, the report states. 2 civilians were killed, as they were in a car at the time of the missile attack. The enemy missile also hit a roadway, and municipal workers are now eliminating the effects. A reminder that, on January 9, 2023, Russian troops launched 21 strikes on the Donetsk region. 11 settlements came under enemy fire, and 6 civilians were reported injured. Mykolaiv Marines have destroyed a Russian rear post in the Donetsk region. The relevant statement was made by the Naval Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine on Telegram, and Ukrinform correspondent reports. The air reconnaissance units discovered a storage where the invading terrorists kept material and technical means. With an accurate shot from the Rapora anti-tank gun, the anti-tankers of the 36th Separate Marine Brigade, named after Rear Admiral Mikhailo Byelinsky, hit the target, the report states. A reminder that, between February 24, 2022 and January 10, 2023, Russia's total combat losses in Ukraine reached about 112,470 troops. Photo, Getty Images. The Ministry of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine has signed a memorandum with the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Equipment of Senegal on cooperation in the area of agriculture. That's according to the press service of the Ministry of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine, Ukrinform reports. According to the report, the document envisages the development of bilateral trade in agricultural products, cooperation in the field of scientific research, investment, as well as relations between government institutions and private organizations. The Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine, Mykola Solzhenitsyn, said that despite the war, the Ukrainian side is making every effort to continue exporting the necessary amount of foodstuffs to African countries. According to him, Ukraine is ready to increase exports of agricultural products and consider implementing new logistics projects in Senegal. In particular, the issue concerns the possibility of storing Ukrainian grain in the so-called grain hubs. Their creation will contribute to the predictability of sales, the stabilization of food prices for African countries, and will provide confidence in the necessary volumes and quality of grain. Solzhenitsyn also visited the seaport of Dakar, Senegal, through which 95% of foodstuffs is delivered to the country. 4 civilians were killed and 30 more wounded due to Russia's armed aggression in Ukraine on January 9. Deputy head of the Office of the President of Ukraine Kyrylo Tymoshenko said this in a post on Telegram, Ukrinform reports. He noted that 6 people had been wounded in the Donetsk region, 15 wounded in the Mykolaiv region, 2 killed and 7 wounded in the Kharkiv region, and 2 killed and 2 wounded in the Kherson region. Tymoshenko said the figures had been provided by regional military administrations. 2 civilians were killed and 10 others injured due to Russian aggression in Ukraine on January 8. During his visit to Paris, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida held talks with French President Emmanuel Macron on key issues, including Russia's war in Ukraine. That's according to Japan Today, Ukrinform reports. Macron thanked Japan for its economic and humanitarian support to Ukraine and said both countries will work jointly to face the global consequences of Russia's invasion, especially energy and food security issues, the statement said. It added that Macron and Kishida's talks come as Japan is leading the group of 7 most advanced economies and is preparing the next G7 summit scheduled in May in Hiroshima. During their talks, Kishida and Macron also confirmed the need for the G7 to maintain strict sanctions on Russia over its invasion of Ukraine since February 2022 and continue to support Kyiv, the Japanese Foreign Ministry said. Kishida expressed eagerness to pitch his vision of a world without nuclear weapons at the G7 gathering, with fears mounting that Russia may use a nuclear device against Ukraine. Kishida told Macron that he will demonstrate the G7's strong commitment to rejecting attempts to change the status quo by force, threats, or the use of nuclear arms, as well as maintaining a free and open international order. During the meeting, both politicians notably addressed North Korea's nuclear and missile development. Japan can count on our unfailing support to face flagrant breaches to international law from Pyongyang, Macron said. Kishida's five-nation tour will also take him to Italy, Britain, Canada, and the US, where he will have talks on Friday with President Joe Biden. Photo: Gonzalo Fuentes/Pool. 10 modern city buses left Riga for Kiev on Tuesday, January 10. Kiev Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said this in a post on Telegram, Ukrinform reports. This is assistance from our Latvian friends. The buses are also delivering humanitarian aid collected by Latvian citizens. The delegation to Kiev is headed by the chairman of the Latvian Saeima, Edvards Smeltens, he wrote. Late in April last year, Smeltens, then the vice mayor of Riga, visited the Ukrainian capital and handed over 11 buses and humanitarian aid from Riga, Klitschko said. He noted that all the buses that Kiev received at that time are running on the routes of the capital. Earlier, Kiev received 3 passenger buses from the Finnish city of Tampere, which also contained humanitarian aid collected for the Ukrainian capital by the Tampere authorities and Finnish citizens. Photo: Yulia Serhieva. Russian invaders launched 46 attacks on the Kherson region on January 9, killing 2 people and leaving 2 others injured. Yaroslav Yanushevich, the head of the Kherson Regional Military Administration, said this in a post on Telegram, Ukrinform reports. Information on enemy shelling for the past day, January 9. The Russian occupiers shelled the Kherson region 46 times. They fired artillery, MLRS, mortars, and tanks, the report said. Russian forces shelled Kherson city 14 times, with residential areas of the city coming under attack. Enemy shells hit critical infrastructure, private and apartment buildings, Yanushevich said. He added that 2 people had been killed and 2 others injured in Russian shelling over the past day. L3 Harris Technologies, a U.S. aerospace and defense company, has received a $40 million Department of Defense contract to deliver 14 vehicle-agnostic modular palletized ISR rocket equipment, Vampire, multi-purpose weapons systems to strengthen Ukrainian security defense efforts. The company said this in a press release, Ukrinform reports. The portable Vampire kit will allow Ukraine's ground forces to target and shoot down enemy drones and defend against adversary ground threats. The systems ordered by DoD are tailored to provide critical defense assets to help Ukraine protect against attacks on civilian infrastructure, the company said. We've invested in procurement, testing, and certification since August so Vampire production can begin without delay. We're committed to supporting a U.S. strategic partner with a robust capability, as the people of Ukraine continue to defend their country and protect their independence, L3 Harris official Luke Savoy said. Read also, Czech PM writes message on T-72 tank for Ukraine. According to the press release, under the DoD contract, L3 Harris will install Vampire kits on U.S. government-provided vehicles for agile combat support to the Ukrainian battlefield. The Vampire's mission management system integrates an advanced Wescom MX-10 RSTA targeting sensor with its weapons station, allowing an operator to quickly and accurately engage targets. The contract calls for L3 Harris to deliver 14 Vampire systems to DoD, with 4 delivered by mid-2023 and 10 more delivered by the end of 2023. Photo: thedrive.com. Czech Prime Minister Petr Fiala has left his wishes to the Ukrainian defenders on an upgraded T-72 tank sent to Ukraine. According to Ukrinform, the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces said this in a Facebook post with a link to Fiala's Twitter account. The Czech Prime Minister left a short message on the tank to the brave defenders of Ukraine. According to Fiala, the combat vehicle is going to the Ukrainian defenders as part of military support. I believe that Ukrainians will win in their fight against the Russian aggressor, he said. Na tank T-72, Terry Poputuj na Ukrajinu, sem napsal staknim Ukrajinskim obrankim Krakiev skaz. Darim, z Ukrajinci zvatizi v jejik boji s ruskim agressorum. pic.twitter.com/xtm4ndamdx, Petr at p_fiala, January 9, 2023. The General Staff recalled that in November 2022, Ukraine and the Czech Republic concluded an agreement on a joint defense cluster for the production of equipment and ammunition. Fiala earlier said he believes that supporting Ukraine in the war against Russia is the duty of Western countries. Despite the increased pressure on Bakhmut, Russia is unlikely to envelop the settlement imminently. The UK Ministry of Defence said this in its latest intelligence update, Ukrinform reports. In the last 4 days, Russian and Wagner forces have made tactical advances into the small Donbass town of Soledar and are likely in control of most of the settlement, the report said. Soledar is 10 kilometers north of Bakhmut, the capture of which likely continues to be Russia's main immediate operational objective. Russia's Soledar axis is highly likely an effort to envelop Bakhmut from the north and to disrupt Ukrainian lines of communication, according to British intelligence. Part of the fighting has focused on entrances to the 200 km long disused salt mine tunnels, which run underneath the district. Both sides are likely concerned that they could be used for infiltration behind their lines. Read also, Ground Forces Commander Syrskyi meets with Bakhmut, Soledar defenders. Despite the increased pressure on Bakhmut, Russia is unlikely to envelop the town imminently because Ukrainian forces maintain stable defensive lines in depth and control over supply routes, the UK Ministry of Defence said. Today we were talking about those news. 2 civilians killed in Russia's shelling of Kramatorsk last night. Ukrainian Marines destroy enemy rear post in Donetsk region. Ukraine, Senegal to intensify cooperation in agriculture. 4 civilians killed, 30 wounded in Russia's shelling of Ukraine on January 9. Kishida, Macron discuss Russia's war against Ukraine. Latvia donates 10 buses to Kiev. 2 killed in Russia's shelling of Kherson region on January 9. U.S. company to produce 14 Vampire anti-drone systems for Ukraine. Czech PM writes message on T-72 tank for Ukraine. Russia unlikely to encircle Bakhmut imminently, UK intelligence.